That's it. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. Ευχαριστώ για την πρόσκληση. So I will say a few words on the banking system, given that has been coming up in earlier discussions as well as in our mission meetings that we've had recently. But before I do that, let me recall, just to set the stage, the macro situation in which Greece finds itself. My take is that the Greek economy has demonstrated a very high degree of resilience and strength in recent years. We've seen economic growth has been above the euro area in recent years. We've seen that Greece is addressing its debt challenge. Greece has implemented vital structural reforms, and SMEs have been part of that success. So I think it's really important to recognize that SMEs are not only the backbone, but are also the strength of the Greek economy. Now, that positive development, I think, has also been reflected in developments in the banking sector. Let me just recall three facts here. First, bank lending rates have declined. Since the summer of 24, lending rates have come down, and according to the Bank of Greece, in March, we had an average rate of bank lending rates to SMEs of something like 4.4%. That's the lowest rate in recent years. Second is bank lending standards have been eased towards companies in recent years, including bank lending rates towards SMEs, not just companies in general, but also SMEs. Third is that lending flows have recovered. There's actually quite a substantial, say, growth of bank lending at the moment going on towards corporates. And SMEs are part of that as well. Of course, it's supported by a number of instruments. I think the EU's Recovery and Resilience Fund plays an important role there. So positive developments. So then the question still is, so why do we still have that discussion? Despite this relatively benign macro financial setting, why do we still have these discussions about access to finance? Because it's true that these discussions, that's what we're seeing. Also in the surveys that we see, this remains an issue. Maybe less so than in the past, but it remains an issue. Now, before I suggest a couple of ideas of how to address them, let me recall one thing. It's important to understand here why bank financing to SMEs in general is relatively expensive. Not just in Greece, but everywhere. There are a number of good reasons for that. First is higher perceived risk. So SMEs are often viewed as riskier than larger firms simply because they have more limited resources. They have more limited buffers. They have lower survival rates. They are more vulnerable to economic fluctuations in general. Second is lack of collateral or lack of high quality collateral. Many SMEs suffer from that, and banks typically require collateral in order to be able to lend. And when there are questions about that collateral, but the status of that collateral, the quality of that collateral, then that drives up interest rates. That drives up because that makes lending more uncertain. Third reason is asymmetric information. Asymmetric information is a general problem in financial markets, but in lending markets towards SMEs, that can be a bigger problem. Simply because SMEs sometimes lack the transparent financial history, especially new SMEs, and detailed credit information, and that makes it more challenging for banks to assess their creditworthiness. So that uncertainty also kind of drives up interest rates. So all these things matter, and they matter even more when there is macroeconomic instability or when there is a crisis. So those factors worsened during the Greek crisis, and it takes time, often more time than many people think, before these things normalize. You think of, for example, the non-performing loan ratio in the banking system. It's taken time to bring that down to levels that are now close to the European average. Now, finally, I'll stop there. Very briefly, a couple of ideas. So what can be done to address this? First, I think my view is it's very important to continue the reform momentum, not just in the banking system, strengthen capital positions, asset quality, making sure that banks have sound business models, but also beyond that in the business environment, because it is true that SMEs operate in a difficult business environment. So we need a business environment that is characterized by predictability, transparency, stability. Those are crucial. Second, improved information sharing, and I think there The efforts that are ongoing now to establish a central credit register, the Bank of Greece, is very important, because that reduces that information asymmetry that I mentioned earlier. Third is expanding financing options. That's an important one, and also one where Europe can play a role. We need to expand financing options beyond bank financing, because there is other types of financing, market financing, that are maybe more suitable. Higher risk financing, crowdfunding, venture capital, that play an important role elsewhere, and SMEs can benefit from that. Fourth, support programs. A lot has been said about that as well. Specialized support programs, sometimes with government-backed guarantee schemes that can lower interest rates for that SMEs pay. Finally, and then I'll stop, financial literacy. Financial literacy is crucial for management skills, for taking sound financial decisions, and that will take time to build that, but that cannot be underestimated, the importance of financial education, financial literacy, and also financial advisory services to SMEs and to support them. Stop there. Thank you very much.